There is a method in the Mahabharata's reflections on the nature and the force of woman as the flow of life. It is manifest in the story of Chandali, with which I began, and in the conversation I just recounted. First of all, a truth is stated. The truth of a woman. That is done always in a language which is straight and clear. But that truth, in itself true, is incomplete nonetheless. It suggests many other things about the human personality, and they are conveyed through the lives of other women. That process is a continuous one in the Mahabharata, because it is a continuous process in human relationships. No truth is ever lost, however incomplete. But every truth is taken step by step, patiently, into a deeper reality. Given the nature of language, what that reality is can never be stated in words without immediately inviting the charge of incompleteness. This point too is made by a woman in the Mahabharata. What is then suggested is that the truth, which can never be completed through speech, is to be completed in our lives, in the living of truth. Secondly, every story in the Mahabharata has no doubt a central focus, but it says other things which are quite independent of it, though they are never stated. Thus, for example, in the story of Galava and Garuda and Chandali, there's a deep irony of a kind which sensitive people experience some time or the other in their lives. In his journey still, Galava no longer sees any meaning in it. He says to Garuda, "Let us go back." Garuda, flying with immense speed, says to him, "But why didn't you say so at the beginning itself?" Now, Galava could not have. He had to travel some distance so as to become aware of the meaninglessness of what he had set out to do. Some become aware of the meaninglessness of an aim after they have achieved it, often at great cost to themselves and to others. Besides, great speed blurs everything. A sense of direction most of all. Direction not in its physical sense alone, but primarily in its emotional sense. The third main characteristic of the method in the Mahabharata is its use of irony. For irony shows, which philosophy and history never do, or never can, the real character of a person's truth or that of a situation. In the moments of one's awareness of the ironies of relationships, one becomes aware not necessarily of their meaninglessness, but of their limits. It is then that one sees how foolish and how very destructive it is to attach to this relationship or that meaning which it does not have. In all the parables of life which the Mahabharata narrates, it suggests clearly, but without saying so, that if one can make any sense of life at all, life is to be sensed ironically. Irony is the mocking laughter of truth. Firstly, the method is to show that no event of our lives can be understood by itself. In order to make any sense of it, we have to look beyond it. For whatever happens to us is a part of some larger truth. It is no good merely narrating the facts alone. This happened to me, that happened to me. But to make an effort also to see the issue or the issues which, whatever happens to us, indicates simultaneously. This is quite apart from the fact that we do not always narrate, not even to ourselves, an event wholly. So much is withheld, so much is concealed, which is another form of a lie. A plausible theory is then put forward to justify withholding and concealing. But what is plausible is mostly only what is clever. And what is clever is not necessarily what is intelligent. The Mahabharata offers several examples of it. The most prominent of them is Kunti withholding for many long years the truth that Karna was her firstborn son, who she had cast away not long after he was born. However, bringing up everywhere the undeniable paradox that the personal events of our lives can be understood only in the light of truths that are impersonal, the Mahabharata does not ever disperse the person into some grand philosophical abstractions. Truth does transcend the mere personal, but it does not, for that reason, become unfeeling. It is the grossest insult to a human being to answer his or her dismay, outrage, unhappiness, suffering by saying, "But remember, life is transitory, a huge illusion, and so are your unhappiness and pain." The Mahabharata portrays Yudhishthira doing that most of the time. When his wife Draupadi speaks to him of her pain and a sense of wretchedness in being humiliated in the way that she was, he gives her a long lecture on dharma. He is unfeeling of her deep tragedy in every way. Some of the women of the Mahabharata, Draupadi most certainly, show how grand truths, when expressed without feeling, produce the greatest untruths of all. Finally, the quest for the truths of human situations, of oneself, of the other, of their mutual relatedness, is in the Mahabharata almost always through the questions that are raised concerning them. Concrete questions asked by